Can you talk about how they use the fuel to cool down the engine bells? With every single type of regeneratively cooled engine, right? Each fuel or oxidizer, whether it's cryogenic or not, has a parameter known as thermal conductivity. So when you start to pass this cold doesn't necessarily have to be cryogenic temperatures. It can just be room temperatures, such as a hypergolic or a RP1. Um, they get passed through very, very small channels inside of your rocket engine nozzle. So your rocket engine nozzle, if it's regeneratively cooled, has very, very small little veins that run up the side of your rocket engine nozzle. Usually what happens is it starts from the bottom and it goes to the top. So like I have it in my diagram here, I actually have it kind of set up that way. It usually comes in either the top or bottom of one side, and it goes all the way through here and then up through the top of the other side, right? And so when it passes around the engine nozzle here, you're taking heat. You're causing a heat exchange to occur, right, between your hot engine nozzle wall and your colder fuel or oxidizer. And so when you're carrying that away from your rocket engine nozzle, you're keeping that rocket engine nozzle cold. Now, when I say cold, I don't mean like you can touch your hand, you can put your hand to the rocket engine nozzle while it's running and be fine. No, usually your rocket engine nozzle is still very, very hot, but it's colder, it's underneath the melting temperature. I could probably find a diagram online that would be helpful. So if we look at this, right, if I can zoom in. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? You have your combustion gases going in this direction, so this is the top of your rocket engine nozzle, this is the bottom. So here's where your combustion chamber is, here's the end of your rocket engine nozzle, this is where all the gas is going out to actually get you to space. So usually what happens is, as you can see from this diagram, coolant flows from the bottom to the top of your rocket engine nozzle. And it has very, very small veins that go through, and you can actually see the veins here, right? So you have your rocket engine nozzle curved. This is on the inside of your engine bell. This is on the outside of your engine bell. And you have all of these cooling veins that actually go through the rocket engine. So as your coolant actually flows down to up, from cold to hot, basically, you're carrying thermal energy away from the wall of your rocket engine nozzle, which helps keep it below melting point. So that's the whole point of coolant channels and regenerative cooling, is that you're using some of your propellant, because you don't want to use something that's you don't want to use something like antifreeze, right? You don't want to have to bring a separate fluid to help keep your rocket engine cold, because that's added dead mass, right? You're adding mass to help keep your rocket engine cold. That's not doing anything except being dead weight. So why not use something that you already have on board, right? That's what some of the ingenuity comes into play with regenerative cooling. Is now you're talking about using something you already have on board, whether it's oxidizer or a fuel, and you're using that to keep your engine from blowing up, from melting. So I hope that answered your question.